This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was the latest tune from the album that I'm putting together, and I've been documenting each of the tracks week by week in this Wednesday slot. As seasoned viewers will know, all of the tunes on this album are named after dog treats. We've had Gravy Bone, we've had Chicken Feet, we've had a tune named after Pedigree Shapes, a brand of dog biscuit, and so on. You get the idea. That one there is called Stag Bar. Okay, the reason why I'm doing it this way around, coming up with the titles first and then kind of doing the music, is because, in my experience, the trickiest part of doing any kind of instrumental music is coming up with a title. So I thought this time I'll start with the titles. Why I chose Dog Treats, I don't know. I think beer might have had something to do with it. And then just see what the title suggests. Doing a little bit of word association. So Stag Bar, what did that suggest to me? It just made me think like kind of an American diner, kind of honky-tonk sort of thing. You know, the sort of place where there's pickup trucks and Harley Davidsons parked outside and sawdust on the floor and everybody's wearing a Stetson. For some reason, Stag Bar just conjured up that image in my mind. So I thought, right, well, it's got to be country. And, you know, that was about it, really. So I set about thinking, well, how do you write a country tune? And there's various different little elements that you often find, you know, major tonality, swinging kind of rhythm, that sort of thing. I tell you what, here's a little bit of an explanation about what my mind was doing as I was coming up with the tune.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, so starting off with the verse, I knew I wanted something that had a bit of a country kind of flavour to it. So immediately I'm going to start thinking in terms of a bit of an old country cliche, which is to make the rhythm just a little bit swung. So instead of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just that sort of lopsided lope to it that you find in, you know, a lot of country stuff. And the other thing that I always think of when I'm thinking country is the Mixolydian mode. Okay, so basically if I'm thinking around an A major tonality, which is where I start, then if you've got anything where you've got like an A chord tonality and then you put a G chord in there, and you're always returning back to the A as the musical centre of gravity of things, then that's Mixolydian. It's just an easy way of spotting it, you know. So if you've got A major as your tonality, what you're thinking of probably in you know, kind of loose terms as the key. It's not actually in the key of A, but you're making everything gravitate to the A chord, and you include a G in there, then that pretty much characterises Mixolydian. So I'm going A, G, D, back to A. Throw in the relative minor, F sharp minor, then up to the G again, then an E major or an E7. That's not strictly there in the A Mixolydian mode, it would be an E minor, but we can use it because you can either view it as a borrowed chord from the actual key of A. Those three chords, by the way, it's the main three chords, the A, the G, the D, and the F sharp minor. They're all in the key of D major. That's the only strictly defined major key where you'll find all of those chords. But if you take the key of D major and refocus it on the A chord, you get A Mixolydian. And you can look at that E chord or E7, I can't remember what I played now, but that chord, you can look at it as either a secondary dominant chord, taking us back to the A again, or you can look at it as just a chord borrowed from the actual key of A. So that's the verse chord sequence. Once again goes like this. And so on and so on. Now, because it ends on the E, a nice little trick you can do is, I like to do key changes when I go into the chorus, and I do one here, and you can take that E up a semitone to F, which I did that 9 times out of 10, a 7th chord, let's call it an E7, will resolve up to an F. Okay, the reason why that works is because the E7 will always take you quite happily to an A minor, satisfying resolution there, and if you change just one note in an A minor chord is A, C and E. If I play that here, A, C and E. Those are the three notes in that chord. If I just change that E note by moving it up one semitone to an F, even though the shape doesn't look very similar, then you do get an F chord, a chord which is kind of musically 2/3 the same as an A minor chord. We know that E7 takes us to an A minor, so if E7 will take us to an A minor, we can use it to get us into the F chord. So the chorus begins on an F chord, and the F chord is there as, again, I'm thinking mixolydian here, but this time G mixolydian. So remember how I said if you've got A, like an A major tonality, and you include the G, okay, but everything still kind of heads back towards that A as the sort of focal point of the chord sequence. Well, we do the same thing. If you've got a G tonality, but you're including the F chord in there, again, because it's the same relationship, it's a whole tone lower than the sort of tonic chord, if you like, then that once again is mixolydian, G mixolydian this time. And I'm starting on the F, and I'm basically going like this for the chorus chord sequence. To land back on the A there. So that was, in case you weren't paying attention, that was F to C to G. And I don't know what you think, but I reckon that when it gets to that G chord, that feels like the natural resolution point. So G is the musical centre of gravity, the tonality, we're including the F, therefore we're in G mixolydian. And then the G mixolydian also contains an A minor chord and a D minor chord, and then I just use the E7 once again as a secondary dominant to get me back to the A major there. If you're not sure what I'm talking about when I'm talking about secondary dominance, basically it works like this. Any chord that you want to resolve, say, to that root note there, so any kind of A chord, you can, before that chord, you can play this chord here as a seventh, okay? So that's an E note, so you can play an E7, and that will take you to an A or A minor. You know, you could have a G7, there's a G note, that will take you to a C or C minor. It's basically just a fifth. You're just kind of using a 5 chord to get to the chord you want to end up on. Done videos about them in the past. I'll put a link to that in the description. So that's the verse and the chorus. Then, as regular viewers will know, I like to have 3 different segments to a tune, including a bridge and a big sort of striking key change for the bridge. Middle 8, whatever you want to call it. You know, if I'm sort of in A, that's sort of my overall tonality, A mixolydian, then what's as the furthest away possible key you can go to? Well, E flat. And it just immediately announces itself that you've gone somewhere different, that you've taken a little bit of a detour. So what did I play here? I think it was E flat to B flat, and then G minor to A flat, then E flat again to a B flat but with a D bass this time, to a G flat or F sharp with a C sharp bass, and then D to E. And that E chord sets us up nicely to return to the A. So the for the next verse, so it sort of goes like this. Sorry, E flat, 2, 3, 4. And then we're there. So I've got my 3 elements of the song written: a verse, a chorus and a bridge. then I just tend to go verse, 2 verses and a chorus, then 1 more verse, 2 choruses, then after that double chorus, go to the bridge section, and then back into the verse, and then choruses all the way home, and that's pretty much the entire chord sequence written. In terms of the melodies, you're going to get sick of me saying this if you haven't already. It's just chord tones. You know, like I think the verse melody was something like that. I'm playing, look at that there, out of those 4 notes, that one, that one, that one and that one, 3 of them are just the notes of the A major chord that I'm playing over. And then landing on the B note there, which is part of the G chord, and then onto the D note there, which is the root of the D chord. So just knowing what notes are in the chords, and then, you know, you can see how all of that is fitting sort of fairly conveniently into the A major pentatonic. You know, I can just use that as the connective tissue to join up all of the and, you know, all of the kind of main notes that I'm landing on there, like that note there at the end there, that's a G sharp, that's in the E chord. Just learn what notes are in your chords, and the melody pretty much writes itself. You know, it's doing the melody is the easy part if you've come up with a chord sequence that you're happy with. You know, just learn where the chord tones are, join them up with whatever is the appropriate pentatonic or major scale or whatever, and as I say, the melody writes itself. Just don't forget to, you know, let it breathe, leave pauses. You know, it's not, you know, I'm not playing lots and lots of kind of twiddly-dee filler notes. You can do that later on in a tune when you've established the melody in the listener's consciousness, when they kind of when they can kind of perceive the melody, when you're starting to put a few little bit more elaborate touches around it. But the basic idea of the melody should be nice and simple and easily memorable, and hopefully that was. So there you go. That is what is going on in the latest tune entitled Stag Bar. If you're a Patreon supporter, then why not grab the jam track, see what you can do over the top of it, or the tab, and have a go playing what I played, or, you know, maybe it's inspired you to kind of write something along a similar line. But there it is. So there you go. As I always say, now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for the tune, the entire thing, in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, a backing track to play along with yourself, and that explanation that you've just seen there. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know, $3 or about £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies and resources that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive, humongous thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and hope you enjoyed the piece of music. Hope you had as much fun listening to it as I did putting it together. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. Nothing more complicated than that. There's never a script. There's never any agenda. It's just I press the go live button, pour a beer, and what happens, happens. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.